Imagine you're in a classroom and the teacher goes to write on the board. You can't really see what they're writing, so you go to pull out your phone to take a photo. And then you fall a little bit behind, and it happens again and again and again and again. And then you think, what's the point of going to class? What's the point of engaging in an environment that is working against you? This is why visually impaired students have a graduation rate of 15%, which shows us a greater problem. 25% of all students have difficulty seeing projected notes, 40% with whiteboard, and 60% with chalkboard notes. And their current solutions are only peer and institution-based resources like peer note takers or recorded lectures, note-taking apps like Glean or GoodNotes, and manual workarounds like sitting in the front row or taking a photo with your phone. But the issue is that none of these solve the problem of being able to see notes in real time. They're either after the fact, don't address accessibility, or are really draining for students. And they're all things I experienced firsthand as a visually impaired college student. I can think of multiple times within the past semester where I've been on the verge of tears because I couldn't see what my professor was writing in class. And it wasn't that I wasn't trying, it's that the environment was working against me. And that's how I discovered that there are a lot of students who experience this and are passionate about building accessibility. And I was able to build a team of like-minded individuals who are majoring in business, engineering, and design. And together, we're working on FrontRow, which is an assistive technology that solves note-taking struggles, making every presentation accessible and empowering every student. So it works like this. One student has their phone facing where the professor is referencing, and that stream is displayed on any student's device in the classroom, where they can personalize their playback through the contrast. Then our computer vision automatically zooms into the region the professor is referencing, so that we get rid of the process of students having to pull out their phone. We also have a chatbot if a student has a quick question that they want to catch up on during class. Now, for market validation, we've interviewed over 40 students, and through these interviews, we found that most students use technology to take notes, 60% can't see the board clearly, and 84% say that they feel like they waste time by copying professor notes. For example, one student, Samantha, said, "In calculus, the chalkboard is blurry and the projector is worse. I take a photo, but looking up and down constantly, it's exhausting." Another student, Divya, said, "What's the point if you can't see notes?" And when we showed her FrontRow, she said, "This is so cool, I would definitely use this." And now that we knew that students were interested, why should universities care? So they're talking to a large number of public universities reaching over 256,000 students and a large number of private and community colleges reaching over 93,000 students. We've talked to a large number of professors and disability offices at these schools, and the disability offices emphasized that they want assistive tech that helps students with disabilities ranging from visual to physical to learning and so on. And with FrontRow, we really emphasize this because whether a student physically can't get to the front of the classroom or maybe they have a hard time focusing, FrontRow is useful to everyone, not just visually impaired students. At the same time, every professor said that engagement was what they were struggling with the most. And with FrontRow, we've seen through two of our pilot programs this past summer at UT Austin and the Copenhagen Business School that by using FrontRow, engagement increased. For example, during an interactive quiz in class, a lot of students couldn't see the questions on the board clearly depending on where they were sitting. And when we had FrontRow, it was a lot easier to use it and engage. And a lot of them said if they didn't have it, they would have likely disassociated or scrolled to another tab on their computer. But with FrontRow, they actively engaged. Now, for our financial model, we hope to start with a B2B licensing to disability offices and having different licensing plans, as well as selling B2C directly to students. Maybe they're not registered with the disability offices, but they see that their friend has it and they want to use it as well. Now, for our market size opportunity, we hope to reach students with note-taking accommodations, then all disabled undergrads, and finally all university students in the US, which is a $1.3 billion market. And right now we're hoping to raise around $26,000 just for refining our in-house computer vision model and also having a FERPA compliant vision model with YOLO V8 for the time being, and then increasing our data compliance so that we can start officially licensing to universities, as well as hiring a part-time engineer to increase the speed of this process. For our timeline, we've already completed a pilot program this past summer, but we're hoping to start our next one in late spring and then have a larger number of pilot with students over the summer, increasing data compliance just so that we can start building these relationships with universities so that we can increase school outreach and start licensing at the end of this year. And then for app development, we're hoping to start that process in this spring as well, just because a lot of students take notes with their iPads, so we found that was a large feedback from the pilot that we had. Now with FrontRow, we hope to increase graduation rates by 12%, thus increasing income by $30,000. Because with FrontRow, we want to make sure that no student feels the way they do now. FrontRow, bringing the board to you.